Hello, everyone, and welcome to Power Hour. I am Laura Rogers, and this is Joelle Jobson.
Hello, everybody.
And this is a show we do Wednesdays at 11 Central. We've been doing this for about 8 years. It's so much fun. You never know what's going to happen. We talk about things going on in SharePoint, do demos of Power Apps, flows, automating business processes, things you can do when designing SharePoint pages, just all kinds of topics associated to business users and power users of Microsoft 365 and SharePoint. And so that's kind of the audience that we're dealing with. So the day before Power Hour, we send out an email and you vote. So you all voted. Today, the topic you voted on is the concept of SharePoint hub sites and associating one hub site with another, with a parent hub site. So this is a feature that's just come out in the last month or two. So we get to dig in and try that out. Another fun thing about Power Hour is that we have a live chat going on the whole time, and we chat in Microsoft Teams. So wherever you're watching this video, there's a link below to request to join. It's a little form you fill out, and then we manually invite everyone as an external guest in Teams and to be able to join the chat. So I'll go ahead and share my screen and show you what that looks like. So we have Teams, and we have this Power Hour channel that you'll be in when you get the invite and you click on the invite, the link in the email. And you're basically logging into Teams just as you would just using Teams every day in your company, but you're toggling over, instead of your organization, you're toggling over to, it'll say IW Mentor Power Hour or something like that. And then that's how you get back here every week. So it's not like a Teams meeting. It's like you're actually logging it as an external user in this chat. So the way we organize it is that we have tabs for each Power Hour. You go to today's tab. Well, we just keep the last 5 or 6 in here. And then you might not see this conversation by default, but if you click this little show conversation button, then that's where you can watch the show live here and chat at the same time. So you can see everybody's in there saying hello. Hey, everybody, it's good to see you. Welcome back from Thanksgiving break. And so that's where we kind of ask questions and chat and, talk about pros and cons of whatever the demo is. So also I have on the post tab here, if you click the little eye over here, it pulls out this panel on the right, and then every week I put a couple of resources out here having to do with whatever the topic is, and I pin it. So this is where you can get to the resources for the topic we're talking about. And there aren't that many for this specific thing about associating a hub with a parent hub. There aren't that many things out there. Really, it's so new that the only things out there are just other people's just blog posts about it. Microsoft doesn't have that much official documentation on this thing. So let me switch back over. So the concept we have, and we've had a couple of other Power Hours about the concept of hub sites and working with hub sites and what it is and what it isn't. So this is just a very much more specific. So Microsoft came out with this idea of being able to associate a hub site with another hub site. So you could have like a hierarchy and a structure of two levels of hub sites. So you could have a main parent hub site, and then you can have child hub sites associated with it. So the idea behind that was and you could have several of these, but most companies like to be able to have like a main hub, or if you have a couple of main divisions of your company, like America and Europe, or a few like really, really top level divisions like HR, marketing, accounting, and you want those all to be hubs, but you also want to have one big main central hub. That's the purpose. So you kind of already have the concept of being able to search across everything in SharePoint and being able to see when you're in a hub, be able to see the search results in that hub that you're in as you're looking at the search results. and to be able to navigate up in the breadcrumb trail to the organization results. So what you're going to get, the main thing you're going to get from creating a parent hub and child hubs to that parent is really just in your search results. So what this is not going to give you is anything with navigation. Your navigation has not changed at all. There's nothing different you do with the way you set up your navigation. It still gives you a lot of options. You have hub navigation, you have navigation on each site. That's all the same. And I feel like we've covered that in other power hours. And you also don't have the roll-ups in your highlighted content web parts and your news web parts and all those roll-ups that have the ability to roll up content from within that hub, from all the sites in that hub. That hasn't changed either. So the thing that you get is really going to be seen in your search results. So I'll show you what that looks like. And Joelle, if you see anything, any kind of interesting questions or anything I need to go take a look at or try, just let me know. Let me see. So this is one of the links I sent you all. What is the SharePoint hub site? Okay, so I am going to start this off I'll go to my admin center. Now, the way you set this up, I'm kind of my head is in the way of this. The way you set this up is you have to be a SharePoint admin, and you have to be able to go to the SharePoint admin center to be able to do the parent hub site with child hub sites. So I go to the SharePoint admin center and I go to my active sites. And here is where I'm going to be working from to be able to do this. So I can already see that I can see my things that are associated with hubs, my sites that are associated with hubs. So next to each site, it tells me the name of the hub that site is a part of. And if that site is a hub site, it says hub site, in parentheses next to it. So this is a hub, this is a hub. And then I have a few things that are associated with a hub site called field offices. So I've got IW Mentor field offices, that's the hub site. So what you need to do is you just decide which one of my hub sites needs to be the parent hub site that I want other sites to roll up to. So I'll show you where I did that. So I went to field offices and I go to, do I have more? Oh, I have two selected. I just need to select one. And I go to this hub drop down at the top and choose edit hub site settings. And then that's where I've given it a hub name. So you notice that the name of the site is IW Mentor Field Offices, but I named the hub just Field Offices. And then it says people who can associate sites with this hub. If you want to be able to control who can join, which other site owners can join their site to this hub, that's where you'd put that. But then here's the new thing right here, the Parent Hub Association. So this is where you can pick and determine which one you want to be the parent. So I just picked Wonderlara home site. And this is a home site. We had a whole power hour about the concept of SharePoint, the SharePoint home site. And we even did the Viva Connections thing where we added the home site to Microsoft Teams. So that was really fun. So that's the site that I used in that same demo. So this is the one I determined I want to be the parent hub site. So I'm connecting field offices to it. So if I go to, I have another one that I did. Let's see. I have this new employee hub that's also a hub site here. And I'll go look at that and edit hub site settings. This can also be done in PowerShell, but you do have to be a SharePoint admin to be able to set this part of it up. So I've got the name of my hub, Parent Hub Association is Wonderlara home site. And that's where, so those are the ones that I've added to be children of this Wonderlara home site. So then when I go to the home site, where is that? Let's see. Here it is, Wonderlara home site. That is the hub site. Now, when I check that box, now I've got two selected. That's kind of annoying how it leaves it selected there. Okay. I'm way at the bottom here. And so this is the one that I happen to point the other ones to say that they're now children of this home site. So now I can go, let's go take a look at what it shows me in here. I'll choose Edit Hub Site Settings. And then look at this. So I've got people who can associate with sites with this hub. So that's where I'm saying who I'm allowing to do this. I'm not giving it a parent. And look at this, view hubs associated to this hub. So now that I went to the other two and I told them to be children of this one, now that's where I can see that that's what the children are. Okay, let's see. No question. Let's see. The hub sites take on the design of the parent hub site. No. So the design does not roll down from the parent hub site to the other hub sites. Now you already have the concept just with a hub site concept that already existed of applying the design, the colors to a hub site, and having that does automatically roll down to all the sites that join that hub. But one hub site is not going to push its design to a child hub site. So I was a little surprised by some of this, as you know, I was kind of learning this and trying things and reading about it. But the only thing right now really that you get is the search results, and I'll show you that in a second. So other than the home site, does anything have to be set other than just saying it's a hub site? No, I just went to the other sites and told them to point to that one as the hub, to be their hub site, to be their parent, and then that's all I had to do. And then after I did that, once I went to the parent, I could see those. Now, I wonder what would happen if I tried to go to the parent and give it a parent. Ooh, it let me do that. Oh, let's see, so that would give me like multiple levels of hub sites. I don't think that that's part of their intent, because all their documentation states that you can only have two. But we'll see what it let me do that. See if it kept that setting. Actually, I'm gonna go in here. This is kind of awkward the way you go to the hub site settings, by the way, because when you go here, you just click on it, it pulls out this panel automatically, and you go to hub and you click edit hub site settings, which is the same thing as going hub and edit hub site settings. So it's kind of like it's got its own little separate interface. I think I broke it. Yeah, it let me. Oh yeah. Oh, okay. There we go. There's the official notice. A hub's association should be limited to 3 levels to ensure viewers can search for content on associated sites. Okay, so I'm going to click Learn More. There we go. Go grab that, and I'm going to put that in the resources. So here we go. There we go. So hub to hub association. So 3 levels. There you go. That's our answer. So I had read when they first announced this, they said it was going to be 2 levels, but that's our official answer now, is that it's 3 levels. And so this is going to be a great way to kind of describe this, to be able to see this diagram. So you'd want to have your parent hub site, and you could have child hub sites and then child hub sites under those. Now, I feel like, Joelle, tell me what you think about this, but I feel like this is the multiple levels of hub sites is really only necessary for very, very large organizations. I can't see like a company with 500 people not needing this. Go ahead.
Yeah, typically I only, in small to medium, I only see like 1 or maybe 2 hubs at the most. But yeah, definitely in large organizations, I've seen stuff like this in like very large organizations that have like, giant marketing departments or giant HR departments that have hundreds of people in them or something.
Hundreds of sites and yeah. Okay. Yeah, so that's where it's showing this concept of having 3 levels of hubs. So now I'll take a look and I'll show you. Let's see, here's some of the screens that I just showed you, what it looks like. So let's go ahead and go look at the navigation options that we have in here as far as what it does. It's still a manual concept of editing the navigation. So when you associate hub sites to other hub sites, nothing magical is going to automatically happen in your navigation. So let's go. First of all, I'll take a look at the search results, and then we'll take a look at what we can do with navigation. So let me just move this over here. Okay. So I am in, let's see which one I'm in. Let me make sure I go to the right one. So I'm in my home site here. I've got the other ones that I associated with it were, now I'm all out of whack. Let me see. Where did I go? I think I clicked on one and it took me away from the SharePoint Admin Center. Okay, so it was the field offices one was one of them. So let's go to the field offices, and I want to go make sure I've got so many sites in here. I want to go make sure I go to the right one. So IW Mentor field offices. So now when I search for something, I'll just type news here. This is what I'm talking about up here. So you can see I've got this breadcrumb trail. So this is a very big indicator of what your structure is for your hub sites with other parent hub sites. So I've got my IW Mentor field offices. That's going to be the hub site that I'm on. Now let's go, instead of navigating up this breadcrumb trail, let's go to one of the actual field offices first. So I'm going to go back here. I'm going to go to field office 22, and then I'll do that same search and look at the results. Okay, so see, there we go. So I am in a child, just a regular SharePoint site right now, this field office 22, that is part of this hub site called IW Mentor field offices. And as I showed you in the admin center, I took the IW Mentor field offices and I set the Wonderlara home site as its parent. And then we have, so what I can do is when I'm searching, I can say, well, I didn't find what I was looking for here. Let me look for whatever that is in all my sites and in all my field offices. And then I can navigate up to everything in that whole hub. And then I can navigate up to the whole organization. So to me, I'm not sure if you need to have, knowing that you're going to have organization as the top breadcrumb trail level, just kind of keep that in mind. If you're doing your hub site organizing just based on people needing to have a certain thing in search results, you're always going to have this top level of organization anyway. So I'm not sure if you need to have organization and then have one above it. So just kind of something to think about. And when you set these all up, when you set up your architecture, it's completely up to you. And you know what's awesome about this modern architecture is that you don't have to move files around. You don't have to move stuff around. Remember the old days, Joelle, when you had to when you wanted to rearrange your architecture and you had to physically move SharePoint sites and all the files? That was horrible. It was a big, painful project. So all we're doing when we're rearranging things in this modern architecture is just pointing things to different places and just reassociating sites with different hub sites. And since everything is just a top level site collection, nothing has to get physically moved around. So now let's go ahead and take a look at this concept of what you can do in the navigation. So let's see, I've got where am I? Let me go back up to here's my home site. So this is the top level main parent hub site. And this is what it looks like. And I've got some news and things like that, but let me show you the navigation idea here. So I'll go to my global navigation, and then I'm going to edit my global navigation. I've got my hub or global navigation selected, and then I'm editing it. And so now I've got these options that I can choose from. So again, I'm still manually creating my my navigation. I still have to take that extra step of going in here, but let's go ahead and say associated hubs. I'm just going to call this associated hubs so we can see what we're doing here. And then look at that, it pulls them in. So then let's go see what that other option was. Associated child hubs. Okay, so this has, it's a little weird. Did I put that in a structure underneath that one? I don't think I did. Move up. There we go. So now, and so you could just get rid of everything that you created in, like all the stuff that you manually created here, and just add, you know, put the hubs here. But then, you know, what if you want to have just some individual sites like I had done manually at some point earlier? So let's go ahead and I'll save this and cancel and save. Okay, let's go see what it gives us. So now I'm here. Now what we're going to do is, now that I've set up this global navigation, I'm going to navigate around to different sites and different hubs, and we're then on each one we're going to see if that changes, and we're going to see we're going to take a look at what that experience is. So let me make this a little shorter. So I've got Joelle's face up at the top left. I want to make sure, because all the navigation stuff is up there. You can just like point from where you are at the navigation. So, okay, so here's, I'm on the home site. I'm going to go, so you could ignore all this navigation up here and over here. All I edited was the global navigation. So let me see. Home site, hybrid work, onboarding. Okay, so onboarding is, let me go take a look. I want to make sure I know what I'm doing. Hub. Field offices is one of them. So let me just go to the field offices. I don't want to get everybody all lost. I'm going to close all these tabs. So I've got so many sites going on in here. Okay, so I'm going to the field offices site, and it is a child of that main home one. And I'm going to look at my global navigation. So what I did when I added that global navigation was I added it in just sort of underneath something. So this looks a little awkward. So let's go change that. So I'm going to go back to my home site, and I've got to pay attention to where I'm putting that when I do that. So I'll go to global navigation and edit my global navigation, and see what I did is I put this associated hubs thing. I put it as sort of like a sublink. So I want to promote that, and I want to promote that until, so I promoted them both and I can't promote them any further. So child hubs is what I added. I just chose chose child hubs, and I chose associated hubs. So let's see how dynamic this is going to be when we try it out. Okay, save. Okay, now we're going over to, so I've got associated hubs. I'll go to field offices. So I'm in field offices. Does this change at all? It highlights where I am, so at least I kind of know where I am in this hierarchy right now. So that's helpful. And then what happens when I go to one of the field offices? It's just going to stay exactly the same. So this is not changing itself according to where I am or anything like that. So now let's go over to the new employee hub. And, or not. Could have sworn I just clicked on it. I'm just going to go to it this way so I can see what I'm doing. New employee hub. I always have to go back to the SharePoint Admin Center because that's sort of like my comfort zone where I can tell what's what, and all the sites are listed there. I don't know if you all SharePoint admins feel the same way. Instead of kind of all this navigating around and landing on different sites and relying on the navigation, I like to just see them in one big list. Okay, so then I'm on the onboarding. So this is, it's lit up right here, but then when I click on it, that's the one I'm already on, I believe. So I don't know, Joelle, what do you think, like for real world? Do you have any opinion on kind of the way that it puts these here? That I don't know how helpful that is. I kind of like to have to be able to build a structure here, but it doesn't build any structure. It just has the hubs listed.
Yeah.
I feel like this one, the associated hubs would be more helpful because I'm on the parent hub, and it's at least telling me what associated hubs that are like children of this parent that I'm on. So it automatically added those for me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think most people are going to end up just wanting to build their own, like,
Yeah. So what I would
put in
like
their
it to
own.
do, what I would expect it to do would be when I added these automatic things here, would that it would show me, it would take all the levels and put them in here automatically. So I'm going to try that again. I'm going to try it again just to see if maybe I'm doing something wrong. I'm just going to test this a little bit. Global navigation. So again, I'm on the home site to be able to edit the global navigation. And I'm going to get rid of that. And this is all the stuff that was already there. So I'm just going to add one like way up here. And I'll put associated hubs. And then it just puts the two. It doesn't drill down and put like all the ones underneath it, which would be helpful. So earlier in some other demo, I created this hierarchy and structure of what all the field offices are. So then that way, let me go ahead and save this. With the way that I manually created it, I have the ability to drill down and go to each of the offices. But with this automatic thing that it gave me, it just gives me that kind of one additional level. So I feel like if you have a very big organization with a lot of hubs and a lot of sites, and you don't need to have it drilling down to all the individual sites in this navigation, you just want to see the hubs there, and if you have a lot of them, then this is a good, easy button, easy way to quickly have them added here. And not have to spend all that time manually creating it. But keep in mind that this is global navigation, and it is going across every single SharePoint site, and you only have to edit it from one place. So it's not if you're doing all that manual work, it's not that much because you're just having to do it once in one place. What's everybody saying? Let's see. They like the 3 levels thing. Okay. Does the child hub pick up the parent hub navigation? No, the child hub doesn't pick up the parent hub navigation. The thing with navigation is just what I'm doing in this global navigation setting.
Which has really nothing to do with the parent-child relationship, right?
Right. It's just showing, well, if I was on a different parent hub site, then it would show different things here. So it's going to show just going down from wherever I am. So that in that way it's kind of dynamic.
I gotcha.
Let's go look at, where's that one that okay, wait, hold on. Let's go look at something that I wanted to show you that I tried to kind of get the concept of what I was expecting was to be able to roll them up. So, in all these web parts, like the news web part and the highlighted content web part, that's one of the cool things about having hub sites is having the ability to roll that content up and just be able to click a button that say, show stuff from this hub. So I'll show you a couple of things in here. So when I went to news, all I have is all sites in this hub. So all sites in this hub is nothing different than it's ever been. So my when I go to the field offices hub site, it just shows me rolled up news from all the other field offices in that field offices hub. But when I go to this top level home site and just tell it everything in this hub, it's just showing me the things in that one hub. It's not showing all the child, it's not rolling up all the child hub items like from field offices and employee onboarding and all those other ones. So what I did was I wanted to show you a manual way that you could sort of achieve that. So, and depends how painful it is, depends on how many that you have. But what I did was I chose select sites here, and I manually searched for those hubs and just checked the boxes next to them. So then it's just showing the news from those other hub sites. So unfortunately, it's not going to do what you might think it might do and roll things up from all those child sites. Let's see, what other questions do we have? Yeah, it would be nice if it pulled the child hub navigation into the parent navigation. Let's see. Jonathan says, aren't your field office sites associated with the field office hub? And when you're viewing the associated hubs to the home main site, then the field offices hub is all that is directly associated to that home site. Yes. So that is why, discard my changes. Yes, so that's why all it shows are the other hubs. It doesn't show anything below that. Let me go add that other one back here. I had associated, let's go delve into that concept. Oops, I didn't mean to edit the page. Global navigation. Oh, Carolyn says Microsoft's probably responding to people still on premises with large site hierarchies, and the change to modern is just too much. 3 levels might help them. That's true. So that's a good point. So for those of you who are in organizations that are still on premises, this might be comforting because what you really need to do, the best practice, is to take all those sub-sites. And so Joelle, over the years as a consultant, the companies we saw that had a single site collection and all those sub-sites that just had this big mess, and people had this whole single site collection thing because they liked the concept of having that one, navigation in one central place. But there are going to be lots of organizations out there. Some of them, split it out and did multiple site collections, but a lot of companies just had one massive one. And so what they need to do when they're going to the cloud is every single sub-site needs to become a site collection, needs to become just a site, like a team site or communication site in modern. And the way you do your architecture is, again, you're not physically moving things around. Everything is its own site collection, and then you're just creating this hub site navigation, and it's really just a navigation architecture that you're building to visually make it look like things are under other things. And another kind of retraining concept is the idea that in SharePoint, the search engine is very powerful. So kind of train your end users that you can use the search box. People are not going to be able to find things in search that they don't have permissions to. So that's always been that way in SharePoint. But, encourage them to search for things. Just use the search box. Don't always rely on having to drill down and having to find the right navigation menu. It's kind of just 2 different mindsets, right? When you're trying to get to what you need. So I'll go ahead and edit. Let's see, I'm going to edit this again. So I've got associated hubs. I'm going to put this other one back that I had, and I'm going to put associated child hubs. And of course you could name yours whatever you'd like it to say. Okay, so then this PNP starter kit is the one that I had created as a parent to this home. The one when I was testing a minute ago, when I said, let's see if it will let me take my top level parent hub site and give it a parent. And so then we discovered that we can have 3 levels. So let's go to this other one. Oh, and that is a site that oh, this is interesting. So I actually apparently have deleted that site, but it let me make it a hub site. I feel like that's a bug. Okay. So I'm going to go give it a different one. So I've got this other hub site. I've got a lot. I've got several in here. I've got one called Work at IW Mentor. Let's see if I've given that one a parent yet. Okay, I'm going to give Work at IW Mentor. I'm going to give that a parent of you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make this be the parent of the other one. That way we'll have actual sites that are there that it will they'll be able to roll up to. So I have to uncheck this one and then check this other one. All right, edit hub site settings. And then, yeah, so it let me select a parent hub site that doesn't even exist anymore. Nice. Okay, so this one is not underneath, obviously. It's going to be above. So Work at IW Mentor is going to be the main root parent above the other ones. And what I can do is that I can even rename that. So I've got my Work at IW Mentor and I've got its hub information. And I don't, even without renaming the site, I can rename the hub itself. So I can say main parent, just for testing purposes so we can kind of see what we're doing. This is what I renamed it to. I'll just put main parent work so I'll remember what that is. And then, of course, I've got the people who are allowed to take their sites and associate them with this hub. So now that I've got, so what I'm doing is I'm building like this structure of a main parent with multiple levels and different sites under the hub. So we can just try several things. So, you know, in Power Hour, I always kind of show you, get right to the point of what we're talking about at the very beginning, and then do a couple of demos. And this is kind of the part of Power Hour where I try some things I haven't tried yet and try and break it and just kind of see what's going to happen and test things out. So that's what we're doing now. So really the main gist of what I was showing you with the parent and the child, you know, we've gone over all those settings. Now we're just kind of poking it around to see what's going to happen. Okay, so I've got this one that I just made a top level hub. Now I'm going to take another site, and I'll just say demo marketing site, and I'm going to give it my main parent work is going to be its parent. And then I'm going to give this one another child. So I'm going to give marketing a child. And this one does not have, that one doesn't have a hub site. Let's see, main parent work, new employee. Okay, and then this HR site. Oop, it keeps doing that whenever you select multiple things. Okay. Change hub association. Yeah, I'll leave that one how it is. Okay, I'm going to take one that's not a hub site at all, and I'm going to make it a hub site. So I'll say this Contoso Modern. That one's already associated with that one. What I'm trying to do is like kind of weave them all together so that they all kind of are children and parents of each other. All right, so Contoso hub site is, let's see what Contoso hub site is. I'm going to go find that one. That's weird that it lets me see a hub site that doesn't even exist anymore. Yeah, I feel like that might be another one that doesn't exist. Huh. Okay, so that one's going to be the main parent work also. Okay, now let's go look at that navigation and see kind of how that impacts it. That's really just what we're doing. Okay, so this one has this home site as a parent. This is just a random site called Web Parts. Okay, so it's really just, it didn't change too much from where I am. I'll have to go navigate to a different one. Any ideas or questions of other things I should try? Let's see. Ooh, somebody said they had 9 levels deep in subsites. Ooh, and you got them, you pulled it away from them and you got them out of that, like as far as the end users, you got them to move and allow you to move their sites to be a flat structure. Oh goodness, somebody said they had 50 subsites. Oh, wow. Oh, Brian says, when I use the term parent hub site, he was thinking like parents and students, like children and actual parents. No, that's a completely different concept of a parent, isn't it? That's cool. All right, main parent work hub site. Yeah, so this is not changing really dynamically or anything like that. It's just kind of you get what you get when you add it. It's only going to show the hub sites. One site collection with 387 subsites. So yeah, that's what you have to do is take them all. And what's a good tool you know of, Joelle, for migrating subsites to become site collections in SharePoint Online?
Maybe ShareGate.
ShareGate has a big button that just says make subsites into top level sites. I think that's what the button says. And you can take all your on-premises content, or if you have a bunch of like a top level site collection with a bunch of subsites that just from classic SharePoint that you've had in SharePoint Online this whole time, it can be on premises or SharePoint Online, and you can just click that button and migrate everything to become their own site. So that's a really nice tool. I think it's a few $1,000s, but I feel like it's worth it, of all the pain and hours of moving all that stuff. I don't know.
Especially
I feel like
in just big ones.
Any other questions about the way that y'all like ShareGate too? Awesome. Do y'all have any other questions about the way this works or what you expected? I can start from scratch and take one that's not a hub at all and kind of like go through the whole process. Let's see. IW Mentor Training. I'll just do that. So we've got a few minutes. I had a feeling, Joelle, when I first, and everyone voted on this, I kind of was digging in and reading all about it, and then I kind of almost didn't want to do it. I was talking to Joelle about this. I almost didn't want to do it as a topic because I knew it would be so very short, because there isn't an extensive amount of what you can do or what you get. It's just really a couple of things. Then I almost didn't do it, but then I said, well, at least people will know, and they're going to turn on the parent hub site thing and expect it to be or do certain things, and now they'll kind of know what to expect and know kind of what the purpose is, at least for now. I mean, who knows if they'll add more functionality to it later. So I'm going to take this, and I'm going to take this site and make it become a hub. If you all have never seen, this process happen, I'm going to say register with a hub site, so you can make it become its own hub site or associate it with an existing one. So I'll say I want IDO Mentor Training to be its own hub site. And if you don't put anyone here for people who can associate, then that allows anyone to associate their site that they're an owner of with this hub site. So I'll just call it IDO Mentor Training. So now IDO Mentor Training is a hub site, and now it says hub site in parentheses, and now I'll just take like IW Mentor Team and it's already associated with some other hub site, and I can actually switch it and make it become now part of this hub site. So this is how I'm re-architecting my intranet, is just by rearranging them. Now, I feel like this interface doesn't really do it justice because you can't actually visually see it as a hierarchy. So like Microsoft's documentation, where did it go? Microsoft's documentation here kind of shows you this structure. So I feel like when you're doing your own, and when you're planning this out, and you're actually sitting down and you're in the SharePoint administration center and re-architecting it, it would really probably help to actually have a diagram like this for your own as a visual, so you can see, because all you're really doing is you're going to each site and you're telling it which hub to associate it with. But I feel like it would probably behoove you to have this as a reference to be able to kind of visually see what goes where, as opposed to the way that I'm doing it, just kind of, scrolling around and clicking on things. See, because right now, just by looking at it like this, I don't really have I have a way of, I can filter by hubs, and I can see kind of what sites are part of any given hub, but it doesn't really show it to me as a hierarchy. What else? Do I think Microsoft will continue to build out the highlighted content web part? I don't know. I'm not sure. That would be nice. Is there anything that I missed? Do I think you should create hubs for sales, support, and services? Creates a new home site. Susan's asking for suggestions about hers. Wow, she put a screenshot of her navigation in there in the chat. So Joelle, Susan's got a good question. She's asking about creating hubs and kind of why you would create hubs and why you would create a new home site. I know you do a lot. We have a modern boot camp that we offer as one of our offerings at IW Mentor, and Joelle does a lot of those. She's always working with companies, building their modern intranets and talking them through this kind of thing. What do you think you would say to Susan about her question about having one hub versus why she would want to create multiple other hubs?
It's a hard question without knowing all the details, but I would say that like the biggest thing is just like that the hub, it has an actual purpose, and it's not just like, because like if you look at a big navigation, right, and there's like headers in your navigation and you have links underneath them, the thing that's the header, so like I think in hers it said support and services or something like that, like what is that? Like, is that a thing? Like, is that something where there's actually content and news and like events that are just like at that level? And I would say if there's like content for that, then yeah, that would be a good situation for a hub. But if that's truly just a header for these other sites and there's really nothing there, then obviously I would probably just forego having a hub for that. And I don't know if that's really what the question is or not, but that's usually what I go off of.
Okay.
It's like, what is that? Like, what is there? What sits at that level? And is it necessitate a hub, a site to roll up content on? Or is it just literally just like a way of organizing something in a navigation? That's kind of
is there content there? So is there, it might be worthwhile to just say, Susan, even if there isn't any actual top level content, you could just make a hub just for the purpose of, like you said, Joelle, just people going to that page to see rolled up content from all the other like sub sites in that would fall under that topic, and just use that and not actually put any content in it, but create it, make it be a hub, and put like the news web part on there and say, roll up all the news from this hub, and the highlighted content web part potentially, or the events web part, and roll up things from this hub. And that way, even if you didn't have any top level content, you'd still have something there. If people just happen to navigate to it, they'd be able to see, like, if you have a lot of news in your company, if you have that content that you would want them to see rolled up.
Yeah, but on the same hand, I don't think I would do that unless it's like actually necessary, like unless people are going to actually look at it,
Yeah, that's
because I think
true.
that's just it's just kind of a like I think you could just use like a label in the navigation, right, instead
Yeah.
of like
Yeah, that's
having
true.
there. But if it makes sense, that like if that's something that people would like to see a nice rolled up thing of, like all the news from that whole, I guess you would call like organization within the organization, like or like department or whatever, then yeah, I think that that would be helpful. But yeah, I usually just look at like what is the content and like who would own it and like what is that level? Like, is it
Yeah.
anything or is it literally just an organizational, like a way of having a hierarchy and having, a label to put links under?
Yeah. Yeah. And we come across a lot of organizations that they're not writing news, they're not putting news in SharePoint, and they don't have like those designated champions or the designated sort of communications people that and no one's been told that it's part of their job to post news articles. So we have a lot of we come across a lot that have zero news in their SharePoint intranet. And so is that something that's someone has to be assigned that to make sure that that's happening, and that way you would have content, or tell them to put it in SharePoint instead of sending it in a newsletter or something like that?
I mean, it just depends. I mean, again, it depends. Like, I would say if there's a organizational push to use SharePoint, then typically whoever's like the sponsor of the project is going to have to like make that designation and say, no, we're not using email anymore. We're going to do this. Or whatever, they kind of have to make that decision. But then as far as like departments, I mean, some departments are just not going to have news, and usually if I'm working with them, then I just design their site differently to like focus more. I always say when I'm working with customers, I always say, is it resource heavy, is your department site resource heavy, or is it news heavy? Because resource heavy is typically links, documents, things like that, so that's going to be the focus of their homepage or their hub site. Whereas if it's news heavy, then we might, make that the focus. But it's perfectly okay that some places are just not going to have news. They might have the once announcement every once in a while. But yeah, I mean, definitely, if you're going to have news, you need to make sure somebody owns it, and it's not just going to have an article out there from 4 years ago. That's not going to make your site look very good.
Yeah, totally. Thank you. Yeah, Joelle's definitely the expert on with a lot of years of experience of working on this type of thing, and being immersed in big internets and small. Yeah. All right. So I think I'm going to wrap it up. Let me see. Do we have any? So again, to summarize, let me go back over to I'll remove my filter here. Everything that I've been showing you today with associating a hub site with another parent hub site, you need to be able to be a SharePoint admin to be able to get to this, or be able to run PowerShell to do it. And I highly recommend starting with a visual, like Microsoft recommended in their documentation, with planning out which hubs are going to be under which other hubs before you start doing this, so that because this interface that you're working in is not conducive to, doesn't have like a visual like that, like a hierarchy. So you're really just going to each site that you want to work, or that you want to change, and you're just going to the hub site settings, and you're telling it which site needs to be its parent. So I'll say this one's going to be, ID Mentor Training will be its parent. So again, it helps to have it visualized. And then once you have this all set up, the biggest place where you're actually going to see this hierarchy and structure is going to be when you're doing a search. When you go to any of those child sites of any of those hubs, and when you're looking at your search results, you'll see that breadcrumb trail that's across the top that you can drill up. And remember that in search results, people are only going to see content that they have access to in SharePoint. All right, and I showed you the couple of things you can do in navigation, and that is about it. So I'll remind you all, our sale is going on. To wrap it up, we have 2 more days and 12 hours. We have our big Cyber Monday sale going on, and it's iwmentor.com. The sale is on our ultimate yearly plan. So this is our ultimate training plan. It's a training subscription that is all SharePoint, Power Apps, Power Automate, Teams. It's about 35 hours of video training and labs and quizzes, and you get certificates. And we even have like a little point program where you earn points as you go through the courses, and you can spend them in our little store. So we've got some frequently asked questions, but basically it's this ultimate plan that we've got the whole syllabus, everything that it entails in here. So you all check that out. It's usually $700 for a year for Ultimate Plus, and so with the 40% discount, it's only $420. So I'd like to have you all as training members. And we also have a little fun, can be private community and a private forum for our Ultimate members too. So it's a good deal. Come check us out. And thanks everybody for coming to Power Hour. Let's see, the schedule is also on our website. Our next Power Hour is going to be December 15th. And for our Ultimate members, our next private Ultimate members only office hours meeting is going to be December 14th. And we hold those every 3 weeks. Thanks everybody. Thanks for coming.
Have fun
Check out our sale
next week, everybody.
Thanks, Joelle, for all your insights.
Bye.